Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys saw that I uploaded a little post so that you guys can choose what story time you guys wanted me to upload today, and I said either my labor story time or my miscarriage story time, or my experience. So with that being said, I ended up deciding that I'm gonna do labor for this time, and my miscarriage will be my next video. Before I do get started with my story time, I do want to shout out, I do want to give a quick shout out to my babe, my boyfriend. He started his own YouTube channel, or he made his own YouTube channel, and it's all about fitness. So if you guys want to get fit, or have any questions about being fit, what type of substances you guys like to take or would like to take, questions about anything, I will be posting his link down in the description so that you guys can go click subscribe to his channel, show some love, turn on the notification bell on his channel as well as mine if you haven't already, so that you guys can be updated every time we post a video. I also want to give a quick shout out to the company that I bought this headband from. It's called Mommy and Me Co. A certain percentage of the profits go to youth at risk. So if you guys are interested in buying your headbands to match with your babies, boy or girl, this is my baby girl's headband. And if you guys want to go buy your headbands to match with your baby boy or girl, the boys' headbands are different. I think they're kind of like a bandana type of thing or something. I will be posting the link to that website down below as well. And if you want to get 40% off, you can use my promo code. I will be putting that in the description as well. So yeah, let's get started with the story time. So that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Are you done, baby? I got a diaper to change, so let me hurry up with this. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna be looking this way because I wrote everything down again, because honey, I'm trying to be organized. I get off topic very easy, and I'm trying to make my videos as short as possible, and they're always super long because who wants to edit? Maybe later, once I get more experience with this YouTube stuff, then I'll start editing my videos, but yeah, so let's get started for this time. Okay, so days prior to my due date, which was December 25th, I ended up having my baby on Christmas. I had been in and out of the hospital already, because I thought, I was having contractions or whatnot. I was having pains. I guess she's not done. I was having contractions and stuff, or I was having pains, which I thought to be contractions, and my mom was like, honey, once you start having contractions, you're gonna know what contractions are. Like, yeah, and I ended up realizing that the day of. So I was in the hospital, in and out of the hospital days prior to my due date, and on the 23rd, it was like late night. We went into the hospital. I was at the hospital all night because they were monitoring me, my contractions and the baby's heartbeat or whatever. And they checked me, and I was no progression whatsoever. I wasn't dilated at all. So they sent me back home. By the time they sent me home, it was the next morning. So it was the 24th. I was there with my mom and my boyfriend. So as we're walking out, my mom's like, hey, I'm gonna take your grandma to the store or whatever. Do you want to come with us, so that you can walk around? Like, we're gonna take quite a while because she's gonna shop for her. She does a rosario every time, every year on the 25th. Well, she does multiple, but on the 25th, she always does one, So that was the 24th, and the next day was gonna be her rosario, so my mom was gonna take her shopping for that. So as we're at the store, I'm walking around, I decided I'd go to the store with her because my boyfriend was gonna go to the gym and stuff. So I said, okay, you go to the gym since you couldn't go because we were here all night, and I'll go with my mom so that I can walk, and maybe, you know, I'll end up progressing. So I went with my mom, walked around and stuff, and before we left to the store, my mom was like doing research or whatever, like, you know, little ways to try inducing your labor, blah blah blah. My mom ended up finding this tea, and this tea was supposed to work within minutes to start having contractions, you know, back to back, so that you can go into labor. So my mom did make that tea for me once we got to my grandma's house to drop her off, you know, with her groceries and stuff. She made it there. On my way back here, I drank the tea, got here at my house, showered, just so that I could be prepared just in case I did end up going into labor, right? So I showered, everything, you know. The tea was supposed to work within minutes. By the time I'm out of the shower, dressed, everything, you know, laying there talking, you know, I would have been, you know, started to feel pain. Nothing. The tea didn't work. So that was early morning, right? So later on during the day, we're hanging out here, you know, it's Christmas Eve. His parents, well, his mom is making tamales. Everybody else is getting ready to go. Actually, everybody was getting ready to come here. Like, my family was getting ready to come here and have tamales with his family. You know, we were gonna spend Christmas Eve with each other. So Christmas Eve, my mom ended up noticing, you know, it's not gonna happen. You know, you would have been having contractions already. So she went home. She went home to get ready with my sister, you know, my family, so that they can come later once the food was ready and everything. So it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I noticed that I'm starting to have contractions, and these are contractions. Like, I felt, you know, I knew what my mom was talking about. So they're not that close, whatever. I'm having them here and there. By 3 o'clock, I was having contractions back to back, I would say. Not back to back, but like from every 3 to 5 minutes, I started to have contractions, and they were getting more intense, you know, as time progressed. So I said, babe, you know what, like, I'm ready to go to the hospital. Like, I'm ready to go to the hospital. So I was like swaying here, having him rub my back. Like, he was perfect. He was doing the best he could. He was just amazing during the whole time, you know. While I called my mom and, you know, told her, like, Mom, we're gonna head to the hospital. Like, I'm having contractions every 3 to 5 minutes. Like, I think I'm ready to go. So we go to the hospital or whatever. We get there. They take me in. I'm laying on a bed or whatever. They check me, and the lady's like, okay, you're 6 centimeters dilated. So I guess you have to be, I think it's more than 3 or 4 centimeters dilated, so that they can admit you and you can actually get a room or whatever, because you're gonna end up going into labor. So they took me in the room or whatever, but meanwhile I was waiting and I was in so much pain. Like, contractions, honey, they're real. So they took me in the room. They checked me again. I was 6 centimeters dilated still. And once I got in the room, I actually asked for pain medication because they were intense. So they put medication in my IV. Although I did want to go naturally, but honey, I was just like, this is painful. I need me some medicine. So they gave me medicine in my IV, pain medication. That helped, you know, for a bit. But she told me, like, after a while, if I can keep giving it to you, but it's gonna stop working, you know. I'm like, okay, like, it's fine, like, just for right now, you know, while I progress. So she gave me medication. A few hours later, they checked me again, because I guess it's every 2 to 3 hours, I guess they check you. So they checked me again, and no progression from 6 centimeters. Then time passed or whatever, and they checked me again. I was 8 centimeters. So at this point, they started inducing my labor pains. So I never knew that there was like a little monitor where they could like increase the level to induce your pains like higher and higher. But honey, that day I found out. So they started to induce my pains when I was 8 centimeters to see if I would progress. Like, quick so that they can, you know, we could get started with me delivering the baby and everything. So I was 8 centimeters. I asked for more medication in my IV a couple times, and she did. Honey, what she said was true too. It stops working after a while. So it stopped working, but however, when it was working, I was able to get some rest, so I was like relieved at the time. So then I started feeling all the pain again and everything, and I was checked again, no progression from 8. I was checked a couple times, no progression from 8. So they would turn my levels up for inducing the pains higher and higher, and it was so painful. So they're inducing me, I'm not progressing, and then finally they check me again, and I'm trying to have my baby with no epidural, but they checked me again, and finally I'm 9.5 centimeters dilated. So I'm like, oh my god, like thank the Lord, like I'm 9 centimeters, like 9.5 centimeters dilated. So I was super happy, you know. I was like, okay, you know, I got this or whatever. So then the nurse says, okay, like let's start trying to push just a little bit to see if you do progress more or whatever. So I was like, okay. So my mom comes, my boyfriend comes. Yeah, my mom comes, my boyfriend comes, and she's like, okay, push. So I'm over here like, okay, mom, like I'm pushing, but they're like, you're pushing wrong, that's not how you push like this, push like you want to poop. So I'm like, okay, mom, okay, like whatever, you know. And then, honey, I was in so much pain, I forgot how, because of course you have to push every time you have a contraction, right? So I was in so much pain, I forgot how to poop. I forgot how to push to poop. So I'm sitting there like pushing, but I guess I'm pushing the wrong way. Then I finally start pushing the right way. My mom's here, my boyfriend's here, and my the nurse is here by my legs. So they're all holding my legs, you know. Mom's holding one leg, my boyfriend's holding another leg. She's down there, you know, making sure everything's fine, and you know, nothing gets too out of control, I guess, I don't know. So she's down there, I'm pushing, and poop, my water breaks, and it like dramatic, like splashes everywhere. And I don't know if I told them that I had to pee, but honey, I had to pee. Oh no, you know what, I think I did I told the nurse that I had to pee, but she said that I would have to pee in the pan because I couldn't get out of the bed. So I was like, honey, let me hold this because I don't want to pee in no pan. I felt a little bit uncomfortable when I just should have peed in the fucking pan, because I ended up peeing on the nurse. Like, yeah, I ended up peeing on the nurse. It's not cute, it's disgusting, but that's what happened. Like, it just said and it got on the nurse's face, but it wasn't intentional. And of course, you know, it wasn't intentional, but it's still disgusting. It like splashed on her face a little bit, so she had to go wash her face off. So when she went to wash her face off, she was like, damn, you really had to pee, huh? And she was like kind of upset. I guess she went to wash her face. I would have been upset too, like, I understand. But she went to wash her face, my water broke, of course. And then that was that. So she checked me a few hours later again, a few hours later again, and I kept going through the contractions, the inducing, whatever, and no progression. I actually went back down to 8 centimeters. When I went back down to 8 centimeters, that just, my whole mood was just, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. And I was crying. But I wanted to cry even more, honey, because it was so painful for me to go back down to 8 after, you know, all the excitement of, yes, my water broke, you know. Maybe it'll take less time, because I was, to be able to start your delivery, you got to be 10 centimeters. So I was 9.5. I was so close to delivering my baby naturally. And then boom, I go back down to 8 centimeters, and I'm just like, wow. You know, hope was just out the window, honey. So that was that. They kept checking me, kept inducing my pains, and no progression. That was when I gave in and decided, you know what, I want the epidural. Like, give me the epidural. So I got the epidural. After I got it, it worked. Like, I was so relieved. I was like, okay, maybe like this will get me through, you know. I slept for probably an hour and a half, and the pains woke me up again. The epidural didn't work for me. The anesthesiologist said that it was because I had a minor case of scoliosis. Like, my spine isn't straight, I guess, or whatever. Either that, or, you know, he didn't do it right. But it has to be one of the two. The epidural didn't work. So They kept checking me, no progression. The doctor ended up he ended up recommending a C-section. So once the doctor said that, I said, you know what, like my water already broke. I guess it's dangerous for the baby if, you know, I run out of fluid for her or whatever. You know, after your water breaks, you pretty much, you have to start your delivery process, whatever. So once the doctor recommended the C-section, I said, you know what, just give me the C-section. Like, I'm in so much pain. I've been in labor for I don't know how many hours. I progressed to 9.5 and I went back down to 8, and it's been hours and I'm not progressing from 8. Like, just give me the C-section. So I ended up getting the C-section, but before they took me into the surgery room, they still had the machine on to induce my they still had the thing in my IV to induce my labor pains. So I was like, if I'm gonna get a C-section, do I still need this on? Because y'all need to turn this off. Like, this is hurting. So the nurse said, okay, I'll turn it off right now. So she came and turned it off because obviously I didn't need it anymore, but it was still on. Like, honey, you should have did that a long time ago. I'm over here dying. So she turned it off, and a few minutes later, they ended up taking me to the surgery room. I ended up having to get another shot in my spine, which is called the spinal. So they could numb me from the waist down and I could have a C-section done. Not the waist down, but you know, I had to get numbed again for my C-section. So I ended up having a C-section, and that's how my baby was born. The days after my C-section, at the beginning, I wasn't even trying to feel what pain was, honey. Like, I'm not gonna tell you it was painful because I wasn't even trying to move. I was being super stiff, didn't want to get up for nothing, you know. But they actually make you get up. Like, the next day they make you get up so you can like start walking and stuff like that. And I'm like, really? Like, for real? But yes, they did that. So after that, I had to stay in the hospital for 3 days before you go home after a C-section. So I was there for 3 days. The days at the hospital was just horrible. Like, I feel like I was like depressed and stuff. Like, I really wanted to go home, or I don't know if it was the medication or what it was that was making me feel super depressed. Also, the anesthesia gave me like I don't know if it was an allergic reaction or it's just a reaction from the anesthesia. I was itching. Like, my back was just itchy and I could not sleep. I was just so irritated. I even made the nurse come in and change the covers and everything because I thought something was on my covers. Like, I was itching really bad, but it was all the anesthesia. So I ended up finding that out later. So while I was in the hospital, whatever, everybody would come visit, whatever, I would be happy and stuff. But every time they would leave, like, I would get super depressed and I would start crying and stuff. Like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I don't want to be here. Like, I'm not comfortable as it is. I got a C-section. I can't get up and move around with my baby the way that I want to. You know, I kind of felt like, you know, I felt bad also because my boyfriend, he did such an amazing job with the baby. Like, he did an amazing job. Like, I appreciate him so much for this. He was changing the baby's diaper and stuff like that, even though he didn't know anything he didn't know anything at all about, you know, babies, because it's his first baby or whatever, and he's never had to take care of a baby before or whatever. So he would ask questions here and there. I would tell him what I could, you know. I would try to get up even though it was painful here and there to help him, but I felt horrible. Like, I just felt depressed. Like, I was like, I can't do anything. Like, I really felt like I couldn't do anything. Like, I felt like it sucked so bad. But I was like, I want to go home. Like, I just want to go home. So little did I know, once I got home, I was gonna feel the same. So once I got home, I was still feeling the same, you know, like I was kind of depressed and stuff because I couldn't move around the way that I wanted to, especially having my baby here. Like, oh my god, like, I can't wait to, you know, be able to hold you and do all kind of stuff with you that I want to do with you, but I couldn't because, you know, I had to like be careful with my recovery and stuff. So it was really sad for me and stuff, even though like I got over it quick. Like, I tried to do as much as I could so that, you know, my recovery process could be like quick and stuff. So I ended up, you know, getting through it, and I'm so happy now. Like, no depression, nothing, you know. I'm so happy to have my baby and be able to do everything that I want to do with my baby. Also, I appreciate my boyfriend so much because he stayed home. Like he took time off work to like stay home and help me with the baby and help me with myself. Like he was just the best through it all. So babe, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you for this. You make me nervous. So I'd like anyways, I really do appreciate you and I love you so much. So yeah, you guys, that was my experience. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, you know, and if you don't have the notification bell turned on, turn it on. Like I don't post videos all the time, so it's not gonna get annoying, but I will post when I can, and when I do, I want you to be notified. So go ahead and turn on the notification bell, please. And like I said, go get your headbands, 40% off. I will be putting the link and my promo code down in the description so that you guys can match with your babies. If you guys want to see pictures of me and my baby girl with our matching headbands, follow me on Instagram. Follow my boyfriend on Instagram because he is part of this family. And soon I'll have a video uploaded of me and him, you know, doing a mukbang of how we met or something, so that you guys can get to know him a little more. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and bye.